Hi, and welcome to another week of Subject to Finance, the podcast that keeps real estate agents up with what's going on in the home loan industry. So how long does it take to get a home loan? That's a question we've been getting asked a lot. We get it asked all the time as advisors. When people start that process with us, they want to know how long it's going to take. The answer is that it depends, and it depends on a couple of things. And so this week I thought that's a question that had come from an agent, and I thought it was a good one to give back because it is a question and it does actually really make a difference. So, we get approvals in 3 days and we get approvals that take 2 weeks, sometimes even longer. The question is why. So, if you're a client and you're on a good salary and you've got a 20% deposit, then at the moment you could expect that that's going to take around about 3 days to get a response back from a bank. So it's actually really quick. It's actually quicker than it's been in recent years. So that process is a fairly straightforward process. But if your client is self-employed, owns a small business, that can take a bit more time. And the reason is that the banks aren't as well resourced to look after those sorts of clients. Those are clients that have to have a look at the financials of the business to understand that they can actually afford that home loan. And so with those sorts of clients, we could expect that to take 2 weeks. So it's a significantly different process. So yeah, when you're talking about potential buyers, if they're straightforward in terms of they're on a salary, it makes a big difference between that type of assessment at a bank level and the assessment that's been done on a self-employed person who's going to have to provide their financials for their business to actually assess it. This week, interest rates have been relatively stable, not a lot of change there. We saw a little bit of a move up in terms of 1 year rate, but you could expect that 1 year fix to be around about that 6.84% with the main bank. And longer term rates in that 3 to 5 year range, still around about that 5.99 mark. So there's not a big change there this week, but much of the same. First home buyers are still active. This week TELUS settled a home loan for a 21-year-old, so at the younger end of the spectrum, and we're seeing a little bit more of that as affordability comes back in terms of the price of the purchase price of the first home, particularly if it's sort of terraced or apartment. And yeah, it's interesting. I was just reading something that CoreLogic had put out this week around the cost of trading up. And it's something that I think a lot of people are thinking about at the moment in terms of, while the market's low, is it a good time to put my existing home on the market and look at trading up? I'm sure it's something that you as agents are really looking to see more of, and CoreLogic came out this week to say that while in the main centres that still is sort of similar cost to what it was going back pre-2023, I think that cost is around about a $200K cost to upgrade. I might be wrong, into say from a 3-bedroom to a 4-bedroom home, but what CoreLogic is saying is that outside of those main centres that gap is narrowed, and it's actually getting easier for people to trade up. With Tela, we're always looking for those sorts of opportunities and helping the type of client where they're selling their existing home to buy their new home. What are the main considerations for that type of scenario? Really, it's the timing gap between selling your existing house and buying the next one. It's something to be thinking about and mindful of as an agent if you're helping these types of clients out. These days it's very hard to bridge things in terms of if you're buying the new home before you're selling the old one. It's possible, but it comes back to the circumstances and the affordability side of things. So something to keep in mind. Always happy to take questions on that subject, and I might add a bit more on it in a future date. Don't forget to hit the follow button in terms of the podcast below, and catch up with you again next week.